Yo, I'm Literal, aka Mega Buzz. In today's video, we're looking at a deck that counters our current meta in the Pokemon trading card game. As someone who's been playing a lot of Snorlax Stall and Iron Thorns to really just control the current meta game, this deck I feel like just hard counters a lot of what's happening, and I'm really excited to get into that deck list. So let's jump right into it. Already here at that deck list with the star of the show being Alolan Vulpix Vstar with its Snow Mirage attack for 3 energy, 160 damage. Snow Mirage says this attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. That's not the part that we like. The part that we really like on this card, and it says here, during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from Pokemon that have an ability. So let's jump over here to our current meta. Right now we have Regidrago Vstar, which does have an ability with Legacy Star, Charizard Ex with its Infernal Rain. We have Lost Zone Box, some of its attackers like Blood Moon or Saluna, Pikachu EX, Cramorant, those have an ability. Gholdengo with its coin bonus, Miraidon and some of its attackers as well, like Raikou V having that Fleet Foot, and then Miraidon with that Tandem unit. And then come down, we have Lugia Vstar with its Summoning Star ability. We have even things down here like Palkia Vstar with its ability, Star Portal, Chien-Pao with its Shivery Chill ability, and then we even have some newer ones as well with that Artrulodon also having an ability, just to kind of Iron Thorns having an ability to really be able to counter a good chunk of the meta here. But to how to get the energies to the Vulpix Vstar, we're playing Arceus Vstar, the best way to get energies to any Pokemon V in our current meta with his ability Star Birth. During your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand and then shuffle your deck. So any 2 cards, don't have to show your opponent, put them into your hand. Its attack Trinity Nova for 200 damage lets you search up your deck for 3 basic energies and attack them to your Pokemon V in any way you like. So we're able to use that Trinity Nova or that Trinity Charge on Arceus V as well to put energies to our Alolan Vulpix V or Alolan Vulpix Vstar, so we can start locking out these decks like Charizard and Regidrago with that Snow Mirage attack. We also have Lumineon V for that Luminous Sign ability to be able to find a supporter when we need it. We have Radiant Charizard in there as well, just a nice backup attacker. I was originally playing Radiant Greninja in the deck, but I felt like Radiant Charizard just felt better as kind of like a late game, just single prize attacker to be able to just kind of handle something really quickly. 4 copies of Boss, 3 Research, 3 Iono, 2 Turo Scenario, 2 Colress, 1 Judge, 1 Sharon's Care, and 1 Airy for the lineup of supporters there. And then, of course, for our items, we have 4 Ultra Ball, 3 Nest Ball, 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball, 1 Lost Vacuum, 1 Switch. And then for our A-Spec, we have that 1 copy of Prime Catcher. I was playing Hero's Cape in the deck to kind of make my Alolan Vulpix a little bit more bulky, but Prime Catcher just felt better overall. And then, of course, for the stadiums, we have 2 copies of Lost City to be able to deal with things like Duskulls in the format. Because it really ends up having a difficult time if they can just Curse Blast your Vulpix Vstar twice, which is also why I was playing the Hero's Cape in there. But it's just too easy for our opponent to Lost Vacuum away Hero's Cape. So 4 copies of Boss plus Lost City will be able to handle those Duskulls pretty quickly. And then we have 5 Water Energy, 4 Fire, 4 Double Turbo, 2 Gift, and 1 Mist Energy. So now let's jump right in to that gameplay. Already here at that Alolan Vulpix Vstar gameplay here. At our coin flip, our opponent does pick Tails, but we don't really care as long as we get to go first. We really want to go first, be able to go Arceus Vstar, DTE, Arceus V, DTE, plus the Alolan Vulpix V on the bench, and then be able to Trinity Charge or Trinity Nova that following turn. But unfortunately, we're going to be going second here. We're going to get the Arceus V in the active spot. However, no double turbo energy in the hand, though. We're going to have Colress, Boss, Iono, Hisuian Heavy Ball, and that Gift Energy. We're going to see our opponent bench a Pidgey here, have that Rotom V in the active spot. Now, I'm not too sure what they're playing. Could be potentially Pidgeot Control, could be honestly really anything. But we see that Charmander come into their hand here. So we're going to bench that Charmander and that Duskull here. Instant charge for 3. So we're playing against Charizard EX. Now, huge top deck there with that double turbo energy. Hisuian Heavy Ball. Prizing 4 energies does feel a little bad, but not too big of a deal here. We're going to be able to go Colress's Experiment, grab the Alolan Vulpix V, and we're going to grab that Professor's Research and the Ultra Ball. So now we're going to be able to Trinity Charge this turn here, getting 3 energies to our Alolan Vulpix V. Now, the unfortunate part is if our opponent goes Rare Candy, Infernal Rain, and then also has Boss plus Dusclops, they can take a knockout on our Alolan Vulpix V. But if they don't, then we're in a pretty solid spot. We have Ultra Ball in hand to be able to find Arceus VSTAR or Alolan Vulpix Vstar plus Professor's Research to be able to discard our hand and draw 7 to hopefully start setting up kind of going forward and starting to set up that lockout with that Snow Mirage attack. Our opponent here going to Rare Candy into our Pidgeot EX here, going to be able to play the Iono for some Disruption, hoping to put us into an okay hand. We're going to get Alolan Vulpix Vstar and Arceus Vstar off of that Iono, plus Energy and Prime Catcher. Pretty huge. Now our opponent here going to be able to use that quick search ability as well to find any one card and put it into their hand. And then going to be able to Ultra Ball here, discarding 2 cards from their hand to find a Pokemon. Now, if they end up finding themselves Charizard EX, they can Rare Candy in the Charizard EX, retreat out of the Rotom, and then punch into the Arceus V for 180. So we're going to have to see here, if they also have that Dusclops in hand, they can take a knockout on the Arceus V as well. So we're going to have to see here what they're cooking up. Infernal Rain coming down, only getting 2 energies to that Charizard EX instead of the full 3 that they are allowed to get. But they're going to attach 1 from hand to the Rotom, retreat out of the Rotom into that Charizard EX. Now we just have to hope that they don't have that Dusclops here. Burning Darkness coming down for 180, so no knockout there from our Charizard opponent here. We're going to evolve the Arceus V into Arceus Vstar, the Alolan Vulpix V into Alolan Vulpix Vstar, and then we're also going to have access to that Turo here, but we're just going to pull up or retreat out of the Arceus Vstar, boss up the Duskull here, Star Birth coming down here, and we're looking to chase down that Lost City to be able to deal with that Duskull and getting it just into the Lost Zone and basically saying, hey, you're not going to get this Duskull back, and I'm going to try to put all these into the Lost Zone here. We're also going to grab Judge for some hand disruption in the later turns. We're going to be able to Snowy Mirage, but first, we're going to play that Lost City. Snow Mirage coming down, 160 damage, taking a 1 prize knockout on the Duskull, putting it into the Lost Zone, and now our Alolan Vulpix Vstar is unable to be able to take any damage from attacks from our opponent's Pokemon that have an ability, and that Charizard EX sure does have an ability. Radiant Charizard has an ability. A lot of the Pokemon that Charizard EX plays just has an ability. So our opponent's route to victory here is going to be able to double Curse Blast the Alolan Vulpix Vstar, or, you know, boss it up into, like, basically boss up something else up into the active spot, Prime Catcher, pull it back up, and then be able to take a knockout that way. But they only play Unfair Stand for their A-Spec of choice here, so not too big of a deal here. They're going to be able to potentially counter Catcher, and then if they have that boss's orders, they could pull the Alolan Vulpix Vstar back up into the active. We're just going to have to see what they got cooking up here. They might end up just taking that 2 prize knockout, and then exactly what they're going to do is take that 2 prize knockout on that Arceus Vstar, putting us at a 5-4 split. So we are behind in prizes just a little bit, and we're in this kind of worrisome spot because they had that Duskull on the bench, and we really wanted to be able to get a lot of their Duskulls into the Lost Zone as quickly as possible. Nest Ball going to come down. We're just going to look through the deck here, and then we're just going to hit for 160 into that Charizard EX, making it so that we still cannot take any damage from Pokemon that have an ability. Once again, our opponent is kind of in that route of, we have to like double Curse Blast this with a Dusknoir to be able to deal with it, and that's kind of all they got. So nice structure coming down here. Going to be able to grab a Pokemon out of their discard pile. Grabbing that Dusknoir here. Cursed Blast potentially coming down. Plus the Collapse Stadium, unfortunately. Going to put 130 damage counters on that Alolan Vulpix Vstar. Letting us take an extra prize card. Putting us at a 4-4 split. But we're in a situation where if they just go Thornton into the Charmeleon, Rare Candy, into a Dusknoir, they could just win the game. So we're just got to see here. We still have basically no damage coming from that Charizard EX. So they got a Rotom V down, so they can instant charge here to be able to just draw some cards, find some pieces, and kind of go from there. They're going to retreat out of the Charizard EX into the Pidgey, but we're going to have that Prime Catcher as well to be able to deal and KO anything we don't want them to have. And we're going to pull up the Charmeleon. And the reason I pull up the Charmeleon here is because I don't care if they have a second Pidgeot EX, really. But I don't want them to have a second Charizard EX. So we're going to just Prime Catcher, pull up Charmeleon, take another knockout, putting us at a 3-4 split. Still making it so we cannot take any damage from Pokemon that have an ability. Once again, still kind of worrisome about that Cursed Blast coming from a Dusknoir here. So we're just going to have to wait and see what our opponent can cook up. Super Rod going to come down, put some stuff back into the deck. Probably a Dusknoir, maybe a Duskull. Nest Ball coming down for that Duskull here. So we have one turn to be able to get rid of that Duskull here. Iono coming down, going to be able to put us into Lost City plus Ultra Ball. So we're in a position where we might be able to get rid of that Duskull here. We're going to draw for turn, get ourselves into Nest Ball here. Ultra Ball going to discard the Iono plus the Nest Ball, grabbing the Lumineon V, playing the Lumineon V, grabbing that boss's orders here to be able to pull up the Duskull and play the Lost City. So now we're in a position where we have two of their Duskulls in the Lost Zone here, still not taking damage for anything that has an ability, putting us at a 2-4 split. Now, the right move is still to play Iono. I feel like they're getting some disruption going, getting more cards in their hand on top of that. Definitely feels like the right choice from them. Just unfortunate that they ended up putting us into a way to kind of handle that Duskull there. Pheasantipity coming down, flip the script here. Gonna be able to draw 3 cards, putting them at quite a bit of cards in hand. And we only got just the 1 card in hand, unfortunately. But that one lone card is a water energy, so they can't really boss stall either, because we can just attach the Lumineon V and retreat and kind of go from there. If they KO the Lumineon V, it also doesn't really matter, because they still need to take 4 prize cards. So if they can go Curse Blast with a Dusknoir onto the Alolan Vulpix Vstar plus Burning Darkness on the Lumineon V, they can win. Lost Vacuum coming down, getting rid of our Lost City. Unfortunately, we only played 2 copies of that Lost City, but it definitely did its job, being able to handle those Duskulls pretty quickly here. Instant Charge coming down, be able to draw 3 cards, and we're going to be able to attach for turn here to Lumineon V, retreat out of that, and then go into the Alolan Vulpix Vstar. Plus, we're going to be able to research, discarding our hand, getting 7 cards. We're just going to Ultra Ball, thin the deck a little bit, grabbing a Alolan Vulpix Vstar, doesn't really matter. And then Snow Mirage coming down, once again, to that Pidgeot EX for 160 damage, but making it so we still can't take any damage from Pokemon that have an ability. We're starting to kind of see the pattern here. We are pretty much locking our opponent out of the game, saying, hey, all of your Pokemon play an ability. Charizard EX, Pidgeot EX, your Radiant Charizard, all have an ability. So my Alolan Vulpix Vstar cannot take any damage. So this card was pretty dominant at certain points, and it kind of comes in and out of the meta depending on what the meta looks like. And since we're in a current meta where everything has an ability and all the top decks have abilities that they rely on, and a lot of those Pokemon are also the attackers, Alolan Vulpix Vstar just feels like a great addition here. Thornton coming down, and they're going to be able to go into that Charmander here. Rare Candy into a Charizard EX. Going to try to be able to dig here for some fire energies. Going to get 2 fire energies to that Charizard EX. You're going to be able to free retreat potentially out of that Pidgeot EX into that Charizard EX here. And then maybe try to find their way into a boss later on to be able to take a knockout on the Lumineon V. But they're actually going to retreat into the Pheasantipity here, just trying to stall for some more time. Buddy Poffin coming down, just going to fail to find and then pass to us. I'm going to draw for turn here, and we're going to be able to get ourselves into a couple things. We're just going to take a look at the hand here. That Briar being a little scary, unfortunately, but it only is going to let them take 3 prize cards, and that would still leave them with 1 prize card. We're going to attach the Mist Energy to the Lumineon V, just kind of as a safety precaution a little bit, and so we can retreat out of it if we need to. 160 damage to the Pheasantipity EX, making it so they can't flip the script still, and making it so we still cannot take damage from anything that has, you got it, an ability. And our opponent just concedes there, realizing that they don't really have a way to get around the Alolan Vulpix Vstar, and being able to realize my opponent dealt with my only win condition against this Vulpix Vstar, which was that Dusknoir and Dusclops Cursed Blasts. So let's jump right in to that outro. Alrighty, that's going to be for today's video. I'm going to make sure to put the deck list that I played in today's video in the description below, so you guys want to try it out for yourself, you'll be able to. And while you're down there, make sure to follow me on Twitter and join the Mega Blitz Discord server. And of course, if you're enjoying the content I'm making for the channel, don't forget to leave a like, smash the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!